Hi, and welcome to this short sequence where the peak pose is Parivrtta Janusirsansa or Revolved head to knee pose. So meet me in a standing position on the mat. We will begin with Parivrtta or standing side bends, alternating one side to the other. Every time you exhale, bend to the side, inhale and come back up. Slowly exploring the range of motion that's available here today. Continue that for a few more rounds. Do as many as you can during this time till I tell you to switch over to the next pose. You can really do even up to 20 of these every morning. They're a great way to release the spine and the torso, good for a posture, and a great way to open up the side body for a posture like revolved head to knee pose. In Ayurveda, they're also considered cooling in their effect, so they're good to do during summer season as well, especially after maybe sun salutations. Let's do a couple more, and then we will hold it to one side for a couple of breaths. Let's finish on the left side and then come back into Parivrtta and hold it on this side. Try not to use support of your leg. Don't put your hand across the leg. Try to hold it with your own strength and switch side. Let's hold on the other side now. Make sure your chest is not collapsing and keep looking up towards the sky. Chest faces forward, not down. And release, come back to a standing position. From here, let's prepare for spinal twists. Keep your feet about shoulder distance apart and move your hands parallel to the floor, twisting side to side. Make sure that the lower body is firm and you're not twisting your knee joint as you get into a twist. We want most of the movement from the spine itself. You can even keep the elbow bent, and as you move more into this posture, you can pick up momentum and use that momentum to get a deeper twist each time. But remember, you don't do something like this. So when you're coming into a twist, what often tends to happen is that we will get the movement in the knee joint as well. That's not really healthy. See what was happening to my knees? That's avoidable. All right, let's get back to practice. And we will begin with triangle pose. So come into a wide-legged stance or Utthita Hastasana and come into triangle pose on your right side. Make sure both the hips are facing forward, heel to heel is in one line, and take your drishti up towards the thumb of the left hand. Keep the navel pulled in and keep pressing into the pinky toe of the back foot. From here, let's transition into pyramid pose or Parshvottanasana, turning the back foot in, placing both palms on the either side of the front foot. From here, mentally prepare for the next posture, which is revolved triangle. For that, take your left hand to the outside edge of the right foot, adding a twist, and then take your right hand up overhead, facing your chest towards the opposite side. You can reduce the stance or distance between the feet if you would like to find better balance in this posture. You can also always use a block. From there, return back to Parshvottanasana and then back to Utthita Hasta to repeat this on the other side. Point your left foot out this time. Bring your left hand down towards the floor, right hand up towards the sky into triangle pose. Stay firm with your feet and the navel stays pulled in. You can always make the pose a little more intense the longer you hold it. This is a short sequence, so we're moving through poses a little bit faster. Let's transition into Parshvottanasana or pyramid pose. Turn the back foot in so it's facing towards the front of the mat. And while keeping your navel pulled in, bring the torso over the front leg. Make sure the hips are even here. And mentally prepare for revolved triangle. Taking your right hand this time to the outside edge of the left foot. And take your left hand up overhead, coming into this twisted revolved triangle position. If you find it difficult to balance, you can always modify your drishti and look straight ahead or towards a point on the floor. You can also reduce the distance between the feet. Let's circle back to Utthita Hasta. And from there, come into a standing Tadasana position, taking 2 to 3 breaths to calm yourself and center yourself here. Next, we will move into a vinyasa style practice. So bring your hands in namaskara, take them up overhead, exhale and bend forward in Uttanasana. Give yourself some time in this forward bend before you take your right leg back and rise up into Warrior One. From here, transitioning into Warrior Two, you can make the stance a little wider if you would like, and then taking it to Reverse Warrior. Finding a little bit of stretch in the back leg as well as in the front torso. Take one more deep breath here and then transition back into Downward Facing Dog. We will repeat this on the other side. Bring the left foot in this time, rise up in Warrior One, then to Warrior Two, and from here let's move to Reverse Warrior. Taking the right hand up overhead, left hand rests on the back leg. Try to find as much opening in the front torso by bending deeper into the right knee. Slowly release, come back to Downward Facing Dog and take a few breaths there. Remember, you can always pedal the feet a few times if the backs of the legs do not feel very open, and don't let you bring the heels all the way to the floor. Take your right leg up, bring the right foot between the palms, come into a low lunge with the left knee on the floor, and let's come into a lizard pose. Take any variation, bring both hands on the inside edge of the foot, stay there or bring the elbows down and hold it before we move into the twisted variation of this posture, for which kick the left heel towards the hips, grab hold of it with the right hand and come into a twist, balancing yourself on the left elbow. Keep pulling the foot towards the hips while keeping the chest open. Gently release, come back up onto your palms, hands on either side. And from here, let's move into Anjaneyasana variation with a side bend. Come into this 90-degree angle at both the knees. Place your right hand on the right quad and bend to the right side with your left hand up overhead. Keep your core engaged and drop your tailbone down, which will help you find engagement in the left quad as well, especially the left QL. Release. And from here, transition into Downward Facing Dog to repeat this whole sequence now on the other side. Let's bring the left leg up towards the sky. Then place the left foot between the palms, coming into lizard pose on this side. Hands on the inside edge of the left foot. Holding the posture here before we move into the twisted variation. Kick the right heel towards the hips this time. Grab hold of the right foot with the left hand and look up. Coming into a nice twist, using your hand to make the posture as intense as is comfortable for you. Take one more deep breath here, then release the posture. Coming into the 90-degree angle at both the knees with a side bend. This time bring the left forearm on the left quad. Take the right hand up overhead and bend towards the side. Try to keep maximum distance between the chest and the left knee. Don't lean forward. You will lose that engagement that we're looking for. And breathe deeply here. The greater the opening in the side body, the easier it will be for you to get into our peak pose today, which is Revolved Head to Knee pose. Let's transition out of this and go back to Downward Facing Dog. We are very close to the conclusion of the practice. Let's just do the last set of postures before attempting the peak pose. This will be cow face pose or Gomukhasana variation. For this, if you like, you can also use a blanket or a towel to make it more comfortable for your shins. You can also grab hold of a bolster or a couple of blocks to make this posture more accessible for you if you would like. Coming into Gomukhasana by stacking both the knees on top of each other and getting into a twist before we get into a side bend. This will just help align the spine. Take just a few moments here. And then release. bending over to one side. Elbow can be on the floor if that's accessible, or it can be lifted and palm can be on the floor. Just be mindful of your shoulder joint. We tend to let the shoulder drop forward or collapse. Avoid that. And let's switch sides. Taking the other hand out, see if you can bend the elbow or keep it straight, whatever's accessible. And add a nice deep side stretch in this direction. Slowly release, and let's switch the cross. Bring the opposite knee on top this time. Prepare yourself for the twist just for a couple of breaths, realigning the spine for the side bend that's to come. Let's add in the side bend now. Take one hand out. Hand goes overhead, chest does not collapse. Keep looking up towards the sky. A nice beautiful stretch in the side body. Release. And let's do this on the other hand. Use your breath mindfully. It'll help you find greater access in these muscles. Come back to center, straighten both the legs, and we are finally ready to try revolved head to knee pose or Parivrtta Janusirsansa. Bend your left knee so left foot is across the right leg. Keep your right foot active. And first we will attempt Janusirsasana. So take your hands overhead and on an exhale bend forward, coming into head to knee pose or Janusirsasana proper. We've done a lot of work on the side body as well as our hamstrings. Let's give those hamstrings a little bit of warm up now. Take your time, breathing deeply. If you would like to pause the video and hold this posture longer, go for it. Otherwise, come back up and let's repeat this on the other side. Bend the right knee, right foot across the left knee, hands up overhead. Exhale forward and hold Janusirsasana on this side. A very calming, a very relaxing pose. This pose eventually becomes what is called Mahamudra in advanced yogic techniques. Inhale and rise up. Straighten both the legs. Let's try Revolved Janusirsasana. For this one, you will need to open the knees a little wider, so at 120 degrees. First, hold a gentle twist before we add a side bend. Let's prepare. Bring your right hand in line with the right leg. Take your left hand up overhead and using your right elbow as leverage, bring your chest up towards the sky. And over time, with every exhalation, little by little, see if you are ready to bring your hand all the way to your foot. It's not important, but if that's accessible, go for it. And remember to keep opening up the chest towards the sky. Don't lean forward or look down towards the floor. As you're holding this, also remember not to pull your foot deep into a flexion. Keep it at 90 degrees, your right foot. One last breath here, then release. Excellent. Coming into Janusirsasana Revolved on the other side now, extending the left foot out, right knee bends, right foot on the left knee, coming into the twist. Remember that the angle between the knees is a little wider, so create that extra space. Keep your spine straight, use your right hand to do that, and breathe. Release the twist. Let's come into Revolved head to knee pose on this side. Left hand in line with the left leg. Use your left elbow to push against the left leg and to straighten the spine. So keep leaning lower towards the floor with every exhalation. No matter where you hold the posture, it is going to work on you. There is nothing extra that will happen if we go deeper towards the floor. That is only required if we stop feeling any stretch or intensity in these side bends. If you would like, grab hold of the toes and come into this full expression of revolved head to knee pose. Continue to breathe. Make sure your right hip does not lift off the floor. And then release. Coming into a cross-legged sitting position. Conclude our practice with a gentle forward bend. Walk both your hands forward. If possible, bringing your forehead towards the floor, or you can keep the forehead on a block as well. Let your breath relax. Let your body completely relax. That was an intense posture and you finally attempted it. This was a short practice, but a powerful one. A lot of side bends were involved, so you will likely feel the difference during the day. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. I hope you had a great time.